A decision has been made about the catching situation, and there's an argument to be made both for and against it. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, a former national radio sports anchor, born and raised in St. Louis and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you to our everydayers for being a part of the show. For you who are new to the show, welcome in. Hope you enjoy the content because this is a show that serves Cardinal Nation and gives you all the info about the birds on the bat. This episode brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/Locked On and use code Locked On, LOCKEDON, to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. All right, on today's show, we'll be discussing everything that we saw over the weekend. Lots to get to, which had the Cardinals go 1-1-1, like a hockey team. They went 1-1-1. Yes, we had a tie in there on Sunday. So we're going to go over those games. We had some very impressive starts from Michael McGreevy, Leahy, Andre Pallante, and some flashes of offense here and there. So we'll check in on, how everything went over the weekend, how people are doing that are affiliated with the Cardinals, how they're doing in the WBC thus far. But we're going to start today with the latest camp cuts and what appears to be a decision that was made on the catching situation for at least the start of the season. Right? There's a long way to go in this thing. And just because certain things go down for opening day doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be the rest of the year. I hope we all know that. But this is news. And what do we do when it comes to opening day stuff? We overreact to it. We like to do that, right? That's what most people do. So here's what happened. On Saturday, the Cardinals announced that they have reduced their spring training roster to 51 players, 6 players moving to minor league camp. The team optioned pitcher Tink Hence, infielder Cesar Prieto, infielder outfielder Brian Torres, and catchers Leo Bernal and Jimmy Crooks to the Memphis AAA roster, and reassigned non-roster pitcher Skylar Hales to minor league camp. The Cardinals currently have 34 major league roster players and 17 non-roster invitees in major league camp still. Now, you're going to recognize a few of those names. Tink Hence, former top 100 prospect. Cesar Prieto came over in that Jack Flaherty trade with Baltimore. Skylar Hales came over in the Phil Maton deal with the Rangers. Brian Torres got added to the 40-man this offseason. He's currently in the WBC. And then you've got top 100 catching prospect with the Cardinals, the number 6 prospect, according to the MLB pipeline for them, in Leo Bernal, who's also in the WBC. And then the Cardinals' number 8 prospect, Jimmy Crooks. Now, the name that's going to stick out, at least to me, when this move went down was Jimmy Crooks, who got a taste of the big leagues last year and was fighting for a spot on the opening day roster. And apparently he has lost that spot. And I say lost, but I really don't think it's so much that he's done anything wrong and hasn't done anything good for the Cardinals so far. But I think it's more that Yohel Pozo has been too good to deny a spot. And it's a spot that probably needs a veteran presence at. So let's break it down. Crooks appeared in 5 games this spring, only got 12 at-bats. Got 4 hits, which obviously is very good. Batting .333, 1 home run, 4 ribbies, 2 runs scored. Not too shabby, right? And then you've got Yohel Pozo, who came to camp, and the first thing that we all saw was that he lost some weight, 30 pounds to be exact. Down 30 pounds from last season. So put in a lot of effort this offseason. And then so far this spring, he's been the team's best hitter. After Sunday, he's 7 for 16, is batting .438 with 1 home run, 6 ribbies, 4 runs scored, 3 walks, and has not struck out yet. So the catching situation can be looked at in 2 different ways. You can look at it and go, we've got a crowded catching position. Or you can say, we are very deep at the catcher position. So you can take your pick, however you want to look at it. You've got your primetime prospects in Bernal and Rodriguez who are still developing, but with Ivan Herrera attempting to become a full-time catcher again, Pedro Pajes still considered a solid receiver behind the dish. Had a hit on Sunday, big hit on Sunday. Pozo, who can play catcher and first base and be a right-handed bat off the bench that you've seen do well in a major league setting. So you have all of those up against Crooks. So the deck kind of stacked against Crooks when you think about it. Now, Crooks does have some things going for him that you can argue should have given him a better chance to make the team in the first place. Number one, left-handed stick. We know the Cardinals have a lot of left-handed bats in their lineup already, but between Herrera, Pages, and Pozo, and then Crooks, he's the only guy that swings from the left-hand side. So on days that you face a righty, which statistically is going to happen more times than not, Herrera might be DHing. You would have Crooks be your backstop. He also offers power, something that the Cardinals don't have a ton of. Now, he's not a 30 home run guy, but he has had double-digit home runs his last 2 years in the minor leagues and did it both in less than 100 games. So you're thinking 15, maybe 20 home run type of power. That seems feasible, which means that he's got more power than Pages and probably Pozo too. He's also a solid defensive catcher. Not going to hurt you behind the dish. He's been very good in the minors. Also, number 4, this is a youth movement. So why not let someone who is seemingly going to be one of your future backstops take the reps instead of a Pages or a Pozo who have a lesser ceiling and we don't really know how long they're going to be around? Why would you just let Crooks do it? Then you've got the argument to send him down. And that really is playing time, is the reason why you're doing it. If Herrera and Pages are going to get the bulk of the time, and you got Pozo, who can be like that third catcher, you'd rather not have Crooks rotting on the bench, making only one start a week. Like Pozo, already comfortable in the bench role. We've seen him do it. He was good at it last year, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. And it appears he's going to dabble a little bit at first base as well. So he's going to be there to help when Burley needs a day off or something. You know, I'm sure they're going to work these guys in. You know, Pages, I'm sure Herrera will see some time at first base at some point. It just feels like it makes sense for that to happen. But you've got Herrera coming off the elbow cleanup. He was scratched on Saturday with the knee inflammation. So we're already off to kind of a shaky start, hoping that he's going to be somebody who's going to be available day in and day out the way you want him to be. But at least at Memphis, Crooks and Bernal can make the bulk of the starts together, right? Like they'll be able to do that together, switch off. People can DH. You know, Bernal's a switch hitter. So you got that going for you. And just because Crooks isn't up now, I do want to remind you this. Just because he's not up right now doesn't mean he's not going to be later. But for now, it appears that they're going to go with this trio. It's going to be Herrera, who said the knee, by the way, was feeling much better on Sunday, which is great news. So hopefully it's only a couple of days and the inflammation will go down. Pages, and then Pozo. Are you cool with this plan to start the season, or do you think they're making a mistake? Would you rather have Crooks up now and he should be catching more times than not? Let me know. Obviously, they want to give Herrera a shot at doing this catching thing, and I think that's a big part of it, because if he's going to be doing it, and then you got Pages, and you don't need Crooks as that third guy that's just not going to get as much playing time as you want him to at this point in his career. So I feel like it kind of makes sense, but I understand why you'd be a little peed off that Crooks got sent down. But again, anything can happen. Things can change. He can come back up, and he will at some point in the season. But for the start of the year, are you cool with this? Let me know in the comment section below, and we can discuss it in our next Cardinal Confession. Up next, we're going to talk about the standout performances over the weekend, which was headlined by the starting rotation, which continues to be a very bright spot for the Cardinals so far this spring. This is Locked On Cardinals. We're thrilled to be talking about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. Boys and girls, we are getting close. We are getting close. You can almost taste it. The greatest game of baseball is back with its newest installment, and fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from this game. Early access will be here on the 13th, right around the corner, with full release on March 17th. It was revealed that Cardinals legend Red Shandies is going to be in the game now. Matt Carpenter and Albert Pujols are coming back. Pujols looks like he's going to be a 99 right out of the gate, Diamond Dynasty style. So that's pretty cool. You get a chance to do the World Baseball Classic in the mini seasons mode. New ways to pair up your players and kind of configure them the way you want to. So that's pretty cool. And a whole lot more, dude. They've been releasing content and making announcements. So if you're a gamer and a baseball fan and you want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new, exciting way, then you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you got what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/LockedOn and use code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection is required. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, the inbox overflowing in one position that you still got to fill. Still open. Don't know what you're going to do you? And when the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what it is you're looking for. Particular skills, experience, location. They're going to narrow it down for you so you're not just hoping that the right candidate's going to stumble across that post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed Data Worldwide. So if you're hiring, do the smart thing. Spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help you get the job the premium status that it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. So go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast, Locked on Cardinals. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Thanks again for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network with baseball back on. And gosh, we're getting close to opening day, aren't we? It's flying by. You can lock in by joining the Everydayer Club if you haven't already, which is going to get you the ad-free episodes, access to our group chat on Discord. We can talk with other Cardinal fans and baseball fans alike. For the next week or so, we got the code SPRING for a free month at SPRING. Check out Locked on STLCardinals.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes for more information. So as I mentioned, the team goes 1-1-1 over the weekend. And let's start with Friday's game where they clobbered the Baltimore Orioles. Why do we got to sugarcoat it? They beat up on them by a score of 10-2. But a lot of that offense, it did come later on in the game. Michael McGreevy got the starting nod. And once again, nothing spectacular, but solid. 4 innings, allows 1 run on 4 hits, but he also struck out 4. For the spring so far, McGreevy has gone 8 1/3 innings. He's allowed 3 runs on 9 hits, 1 home run. He has struck out 8, but has walked only 1. So you like that ratio. That's what you expect out of McGreevy. And he's a pitch-to-contact guy. You see 9 hits in 8 1/3 innings. That shouldn't shock anybody. That's who he is. He's not a strikeout guy. The 8 strikeouts that he's got already, that's a little surprising. But he's going to give up his fair share of hits, but not allowing a ton of damage. That's how he survives. That's been a plus so far. And we've also heard how he's, taken on that leadership role among the pitchers, which is also a positive. So good stuff for the most part from Michael McGreevy so far here in the spring. And I love the interviews, like when we have had TV games, and like Brad Thompson was able to talk to Michael McGreevy the other day, and just hearing the guy talk about pitching. Like, he sounds like he's going to be a coach, right? Like, he's going to be a pitching coach one day. He just has a good head on his shoulders, knows what he's getting into. So impressive for a young man of that age to be where he is mentally for this game. Yohel Pozo had 2 hits and 2 ribbies. Herrera was 2 for 3 with a ribby. Nelson Velasquez, Joshua Baez finally hit their first home runs of the spring in the game on Friday. Jeremy Rivas was 2 for 3 with a ribby. Nathan Church had a hit. He walked a couple of times. Jordan Walker had an RBI. Offensively, this was one of the better days for the Cardinals so far this spring. Shout out to the bullpen as well. Pushard, Soriano, Packy Naughton, Chris Roycroft, they all threw scoreless innings. Max Ratchick was the only guy that gave up a run out of the bullpen. Gave that up in the 9th inning. Had some control issues, but it's okay. It's spring. Saturday, they faced the Mets, and it was Kyle Leahy on the bump, and he looked outstanding, okay? No joke. Kyle Leahy is good as anybody this spring in this game against the Mets. Threw 4 no-hit innings, just 47 pitches, a complete 180 from what he did the last time he was out when he got touched up for 4 runs. He had 3 walks, 2 2/3 innings against the Pirates. It was an ugly game. He knew it was bad. He knew he's better than that, and he came out and he shoved against the Mets for the spring. 8 2/3 innings. He struck out 9, but that bad game against Pittsburgh obviously really makes the numbers overall look pretty bad. A lot worse than what they could be. 5.19 ERA so far in the spring, 5 earned runs, but 4 of those came in that game. 2 home runs allowed so far this year, then the 3 walks. Again, all of that came in the one game, the walks there. So honestly, I would expect some of these inconsistencies to be a thing for Leahy early on in the season if he does end up winning a rotation spot, which I still believe he will. It's going to be a bit of a transition for him to get back into starting pitcher mode and then going up against full major league lineups. That wasn't the Mets full lineups. A lot of their good guys were in there, but, Juan Soto's off doing his thing with the WBC. Francisco Lindor is hurt right now. So, he still looked good, but we know he's got the stuff to be a very good pitcher. We've got high hopes for him this year, but I believe you're going to see some of these ugly days too, like he did against the Pirates. And I think that's just going to be kind of who he is early on in the season. And hopefully he'll work his way through that and become better off overall. The offense got 2 runs off of Mets starter Kodai Senga, one in the 2nd inning, thanks to Joshua Baez's 2nd home run of the spring. And then in the 3rd inning, when Miguel Ugueto took him yard for his 1st home run of the spring. Alec Burleson had a good day, 3 for 3, but that's really about it offensively as the Cardinals ultimately lost that game by a score of 3-2. The other good news that came out of this one, reliever Riley O'Brien did make his first return to game action since dealing with that calf issue early on in camp. So good to see that he has progressed and he looked healthy. He looked all right. Then on Sunday, it was another nail biter with Andre Pallante getting the start. And I know he's kind of the punching bag of the rotation right now after the tough season he had last year. We've all taken our swings at Andre Pallante. We get it. But he did turn in another solid outing on Sunday. He went 4 innings, allowed just 1 run on 2 hits. One of those hits was an opposite field home run by Griffin Conine on an absolute meatball of a fastball, like just right down the chute. 4-seamer, 94 miles an hour. Big leaguers don't miss those very often, and Griffin Conine drove it out over the boards in left field. He also walked a guy, but he did strike out 3. And overall this spring, whether you want to admit it or not, Andre Pallante has been decent. Give him credit. He's now gone 9 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, has struck out 7, has walked 2, and he hit a guy. But opponents are only hitting 156 against him so far this spring. He's only had to pitch against the Marlins and the Nationals, so not exactly offensive juggernauts that he's facing, but the bottom line is you got to get out the people that are in front of you. And that's who's been in front of Andre Pallante so far. And against them, he has done quite well overall. The only other run the Fish got in the game on Sunday was against Justin Brule. That was in the 7th inning, but Ryan Stanek, Jojo Romero, Scott Blewett, and Gerson Moreno all tossed scoreless innings, and the Marlins only got 3 hits in the game. Somehow, the Cardinals tied because the offense stunk. Couldn't get much going again. The Cardinals got 1 run in the 1st inning against Braxton Garrett, who's going to be one of the Marlins' main starters. RBI double by Pedro Paez that scored Jose Fermin all the way from first base. And then another in the 7th inning on a sac fly by 21-year-old outfielder Yordelin Pena, who was at Palm Beach all year last year, so you're probably not all that familiar with him. But good size, 6'3", 177, so certainly some room to grow into his body. But that was it. It was pretty boring of a game, to be honest with you, on Sunday. Another low-scoring day for the offense, which was comprised of mostly minor leaguers. I mean, Nathan Church was in there 0 for 3. Fermin was in there 0 for 2. Had a walk. Paez was 1 for 2. Pozo was there 1 for 3. but the Cardinals only had 5 hits in the game. So another kind of stinker offensively. That's really been the issue for the Cardinals in the spring so far. We haven't really seen a lot of guys do much damage. It's been exciting to see Joshua Baez starting to, break out a little bit here in the spring. We saw early stuff from JJ Weatherholt, although he's cooled off a little bit. But it just hasn't been a lot of damage, which is something that I fear is going to be the real problem for the Cardinals in the regular season. I think the pitching, sure, there's going to be off nights, but I feel like the pitching, for the most part, they've got a better chance to win than they did last year. Let's put it that way. I think that you're going to see some pretty good outings from some young guys who have a lot to prove, but I don't know where the offense is going to come from. I'm really nervous about that. If you look at spring stats, which you take them for what they're worth, because, you've got a lot of people who are playing in these games, but the pitching has been outstanding. And then the hitting has been, bottom third in the league so far in the spring. So take it for what it's worth, but you got to be somewhat impressed from what you've seen from not only the starting rotation guys, but a lot of these bullpen guys that are going to have major roles with the team in 2026. How are the guys in the WBC doing? Because now that they're not here, if you're not watching them in the WBC, you're like, wait, how many there's 8 guys that are off of the WBC that are in the Cardinals organization, and a few of them have been opening up some eyes. So I'll tell you how they're doing next. Plus injury news on Hunter Dobbins. How's his rehab coming along? We'll talk about it next on Locked On Cardinals.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds. And I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnMLB. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnMLB. That's ethos.com/LockedOnMLB, ethos.com/LockedOnMLB. Application times and rates may vary.
Now, MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it, can't you? Fresh starts, big expectations for some people, and the first crack of the bat, whether it's a breakout rookie like a JJ Weatherholt or a division race that goes down to the wire. We know the NL Central is probably going to be tight this year. Nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem is getting tickets. That can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout, and that is where our friends at Game Time come in to help you out. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Very simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means you're going to get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. No sneaky fees coming at you when you check out. You got the panoramic views. You got the zone deals. You can follow your favorite team and get alerts when new deals drop. It's really great. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. So the Cardinals have 8 players in the WBC. So let's run through these guys real quick. We're going to start with Leo Bernal, who is leading Team Panama in hits. Going 4 for 14. That's 286 batting average to you and me. With a run, he's got a stolen base as well. Ivan Herrera, if you remember, was supposed to be on that team as the DH as well, but couldn't get insured. Panama only 1-2 so far in pool play. My guy Luis Gastelum is with Mexico. He's only gotten in 1 game so far, 1/3 of an inning under his belt. 1 hit. They'll be facing Team USA on Monday night with both teams at 2-0, so that should be fun. Gordon Graceffo and Thomas Shijasi. All are on Team Italy, who was also 2-0. Graceffa threw 1 inning, allowing 1 hit and a walk, but he struck out 3, which was great. Showed some attitude when he came off the mound, too, which was awesome. I love seeing my dudes, especially my bullpen guys, with a little bit of fire. I like that. Meanwhile, Sajasi's had a tough go, 0 for 5. 2 strikeouts so far. Outfielder Matt Koperniak is on Great Britain. They're 0-3 so far, but Koperniak isn't the problem. He's 1 for 5, 3 strikeouts, but he's also walked 4 times, so he's been getting on base, but they have not been able to get a win in pool play. Zach Levinson and Noah Mendlinger are on Team Israel, who has gone 1-1 so far. They are both tied. They've had a good start here. Both tied for the team lead in hits. Levinson's 3 for 7 with 2 ribbies, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, while Mendlinger is 3 for 6 with 1 run scored, 1 RBI, and a walk. And last but not least, we got Brian Torres with Puerto Rico, who is 2-0 so far. Torres has only had 3 at-bats. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk and a strikeout. Former Cardinal Nolan Arenado also on that team, 0 for 6 so far with 1 RBI. Wilson Contreras is on Team Venezuela, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and one of the players that the Cardinals got in return for him in that trade with the Boston Red Sox was pitcher Hunter Dobbins. If you remember, you haven't seen him yet, though, right? Because he is still coming back from the ACL injury that knocked him out last year prematurely. Apparently, things are going well, progressing here. Reportedly scheduled to throw 5 innings in a controlled setting later this week. So that is great news. I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed with Hunter Dobbins when you do finally get to see him on the mound. He's got some good stuff, man. I thought, like, just looking when the trades happened, I thought Dobbins was the better pitcher than Richard Fitz. And we've seen what Richard Fitz has done so far this spring. So I have high hopes for Hunter Dobbins as a St. Louis Cardinal. Speaking of Richard Fitz, we got split squad action scheduled for Monday. Orioles coming to Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, while the other half will face the Astros in West Palm Beach. Matthew Liberatore will get the start against Baltimore, while Richard Fitz is getting that start against Houston. He's been very impressive. So is Libby. Both of them have been very impressive so far this spring. Both of these games will be starting at 12:05 St. Louis time, but only the home game with Libby getting the start is actually going to be televised. So do with that information what you must. But I'll be watching the game. And if you want to follow along on social media while we watch that game, by all means, give us a follow. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. We're on TikTok and Instagram as well, Locked On Cardinals. If you haven't seen the shorts and the reels that we've been posting, please check those out. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Last check, we were 5 subscribers away from 13.9 thousand. So we're trying to get to the 14,000 mark before opening day. I think we can do it. So if you do enjoy this content and have not subscribed yet, please do so. And if you never miss an episode, Everyday or Club, built for you. Get Locked On Cardinals ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we'll send you to that first-ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure your second listen is with Sully at Locked On MLB. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason. We will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.